Hi there, my name is Jake. I wanted to share a little bit about my story of going from hating myself to actually loving myself. I know in this subreddit group, there are a lot of us that have been in that place, either presently or in the past, where it's like, I can't stand who I am. Why can't I get things correct? Why am I always making mistakes? Is my life ever going to get good? Am I ever going to be good? All of these thoughts that run through our head because we hate ourselves. And I just want to talk about my experience going through this process of life to encourage you all to know that you're not always going to hate yourself. It is a choice to actually love yourself. So you can become who you want to be and love yourself and experience love. I promise. So, with all of that being said, I just want to start out kind of from a place of telling you that you're actually in a really good place if you recognize that you hate yourself. I didn't recognize that I hate myself. I had somebody else that I was seeing in sort of a therapy session space. It looks like you hate yourself. And at first, like, nah, I don't hate myself. I even told the person I was dating at the time, I don't hate myself. There's no way that I hate myself. Because I was like, I could riddle off 10 to 15 things easily. I was like, that's good about myself. That's good about myself. That's good about myself. I wasn't aware of the way that I was talking to myself. I wasn't aware of the way that I saw myself. And so, like, fast forward 6 months after they make that comment, I'm still meeting with them, still spending time exploring what's inside of me, and I'm like starting to realize session after session, wow, I actually do hate myself. And it was this actually really freeing experience for me, because once I recognized, oh, I hate myself, I began to learn that I could replace that thought with something else. And I had to work like really hard at that. And at first, it just was one of those fake it till you make it. I was like, is this ever going to work? Am I ever going to go from this place of hating myself to loving myself? I had to like tell myself in a bunch of I am statements. I am good. I am worthy of love. I am cared for. I am lovable. And I had like 70 of these that I would just repeat every single morning. And the reason I had to do so much work was because I was in so much denial, which is why I think you're in a great place. The fact that you're on a subreddit where you're like, yeah, I hate myself. You recognize that. I didn't recognize that. And so I had to like dig past all these levels and layers of denial and get to a place where it's like, wow, this is the truth of how I view myself. I, at one point, like really work through this process for me, I created this kind of like mental image of who I was, and like at my core. So I imagine myself as this little like 7 or 8 year old little kid who was outside, like if you would Robin Hood. Maybe Robin Hood isn't known by everyone, but if you would imagine like the 8-year-old kid, and we're back in like the medieval time, and there's a city that has a wall around it, and then you go out 2 miles away from that, and you go into the forest. The 7 or 8-year-old version of myself that I like looked at myself as was out in the forest, out in the woods, and I'd wait for passerbys to come. And I'd have my spear, and I was decked out in war paint. I like put white chalk on my face, and then red, just that looked terrifying. And whenever anyone would come by, I'd act like super tough. And here I am, this 7 or 8 year old kid trying to act tough, and it wouldn't work. And then it was like I looked at myself, this vile being who was like wanting to cause havoc and wreck people's lives and take from them. And I had this image of myself as that built up for my whole entire life. And then once I started to see and build that world within myself, this is what I actually see myself as, I was then able to kind of reshape that. So I would go and I'd actually like sit down, like I'd imagine sitting down with that little kid version of myself and just being like, hey, what's going on in life? Talk with me. And over time, it slowly softened my heart, and I was like, oh, I don't suck. I've just believed that I am going to always be horrible. I just built this narrative in my life that I was a mess, that I was a mistake, that I was unlovable, that I was unworthy of love. No matter what I do, I won't succeed. I built a story around that stuff. And if I can build that, I can tear it down and rebuild it. So I just started to rebuild it, like I said a few minutes ago, with the I am statements, and just tons of other stuff that I was doing. So it took about, when I was first introduced to the concept of hating myself, it took about 6 months to recognize I was actually in that place, and then about another year and a half to not have that be my subconscious thought pattern. Like now, I would say, I actually love myself. That would be how I would, like if somebody were to ask me for that 2-year period, do you love yourself? For that year and a half after recognizing that I hating myself, I'd be like, I want to say that I love myself. I want to say that I see myself as valuable, but I didn't actually. And it wasn't until 2 years or so, maybe even longer, I don't have the time frame in my head perfectly defined, but I got to that place where I was like, I'm actually good, and I believe it, and I know it, and it's true, and it's real, and I'm worthy and deserving of love. And so it's such a process to go through this, but I know that it is possible. I know that you can go from this place of I can't stand who I am. I want to end everything about me, to a place of I am actually good. So that is just my story. If anyone else has had stories where they've grown and developed, I'd love to hear those. So you leave in the, I don't know exactly how I'm going to end up sharing this, but I'll get it on the subreddit. And so if you want to comment, that would be awesome. If you are needing to just talk with someone, you can reach out to me. I love helping people through their journey of loving themselves and just being a voice in their life to encourage them and love them and help them love themselves. So thank you for watching this. I appreciate it. Who knows what the future will look like in terms of these videos. Maybe I'll make more. So see you all. Enjoy your day.